You're listening to Startup Stories on Good Morning Delhi with Sarthak.
Yeah, stories. I mean, we're all about stories, right? And we thought we'd tell you stories about people who've actually taken that leap of faith, where they've walked the talk, literally thought it and then worked it. Thoughts are some things that arrive at Vikram Mishra's doorstep with a little bit of trepidation, because he tends to take them and turn them into action, quite literally. One of the foremost sound engineers that we've had, the man behind the sound of Parikrama and the man behind the sound of Euphoria and of Indian Ocean, literally when analog times and lots of wires were there. Vikram Mishra, is absolutely wonderful to have you back in studio.
Thank you so much, man.
It's conversations with you bring back stories which are absolutely lovely, and we thought we'd get you in to tell the story of not sound, but this time it's all fury.
Yeah.
Because we bonded because we both have a mutual love for wheels and the machines that go over those wheels, so that those wheels can move as fast and as strangely as possible. And in that strange pursuit, it's forged bikes that we're talking about today. Electric bikes is what you're making.
Yes.
Matlab anything. It's wonderful. Anything that comes to your head must be made in the best way possible. Yes?
Yeah, why not?
Tell us the story then.
So basically, we used to Arnab here. There are three people involved: Arnab, Ganesh, and me.
Right.
So Ganesh and Arnab were working together. Arnab is an architect, and one day after office, they dropped into my place, and we were having a couple of beers. And we thought that let's do something interesting. It started out first with let's
more
make
than a couple of beers.
more than a couple of beers. We were like fairly sloshed. Then we said that let's do something interesting, and that's how this idea. First, we thought that we'll convert a car into electric, and then if this boiled down to let's do a bike.
Sure.
So we actually started out with like a device that could be attached to a wheelchair, and that was the electric mobility thing. But we dropped that idea and we said let's move straight to the bike.
Right.
So that's how we started out. And then there's a very senior person who had this faith in us, and he said that okay, I will underwrite your project. You start.
Right.
So he's the one who initially he said okay, you start the whole thing and I'll pay for it. So he started it, and after that we made the first we tested it on a mule. Then after that this was the infield frame.
Yeah.
And
the mule is basically just a frame in which the machine is put and then tested about how it will react. So to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Then
how it runs. Then after that, then we went on to a designing stage. We designed the first one. Then we hired, engineers, designers, and then we designed the second one. So now we have two fully functional prototypes.
And funding as well.
No funding.
Which is what we'll talk about a little later. But the fact is that electric mobility is seducing the world of the world of automobiles. It's also something that's becoming a bit of a fad to talk about, because everyone says, "Oh, clean environment, etc., etc." But it's not that easy to build or maintain. Is that true?
Well, it's a loaded question. It is essentially nothing is easy, especially in the automotive area where you're trying to build a vehicle, whether it's powered by gas or it's powered by a different form. In our case, electricity. It is easy and difficult for us. It's been both. It's been easy because there are fewer moving parts in this whole equation. It's been difficult because we are doing it for the first time. All right. So there's been a lot of learning. We kind of had to understand this whole paradigm and test it out as we go along. The other thing is that, the reason why we basically started making this, not because of our, some sort of a view to make this life or this world better. I mean, of course, that's there. But it's because we like riding bikes, right? And when we saw the crop of electric two-wheel devices that were coming out in the market, they were mostly scooters. Right?
All boring.
Boring.
They're all scooters. It's good for going to the mother dairy and back, right? But our trips usually are slightly further away than the nearest mother dairy, right?
Of course. Till the wine shop.
Exactly. And
yes, only to inquire about what is happening.
Of course.
That's the politically correct thing to say.
We don't condone such behavior here. But so we started actually trying to make something that we would like to ride, right?
Sure.
Because the future being electric, at least for the next few years, is an inevitability that none of us can escape.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
So this is just an attempt of making a bike that we all would like to ride, right? We love to take this to places which where you'd like to take a product where you don't leave a huge footprint or some sort of you don't take away from the environment that you visit essentially.
Absolutely.
And electric is one of the ways which you can kind of show that.
Sure, don't take away from the environment, but don't take away from the fun of getting there as well. And both of you are, I know, passionate about automobiles. And as Arnab had so derisively said, they were implements. The most of the electric scooters that are there as far as the two-wheel mobility is concerned are implements that you use to get from point A to point B. The pleasure principle is not really there. But Forge Bikes, I am assuming, is burning with the fires of passion, is it not?
It's all pleasure.
Huh? It's all pleasure.
It's all pleasure.
But what sets your bike apart from what is readily available in the electric two-wheel mobility market?
So the first thing is that, we have two models. One is the M2 and the other one is the M2T.
Right.
The T is the tourer version. So the first thing is there'll be no range anxiety. It's got a large battery pack. You can do about 250 to 300 kilometers in that.
Okay.
So that also means that you can technically do a Delhi Chandigarh, Delhi Jaipur, because now you've got these charging stations.
Right. Yes.
That is one. And secondly, our concept of motorcycles is that they should ride and feel like real motorcycles.
Right.
Or maybe better than internal combustion engines. Of course, it's easier to say this. We're also facing challenges when we're working on the power train, when we're working on weight versus pickup.
Yeah.
Because in a fuel engine, as you go along, you're actually burning fuel, so the weight keeps reducing.
Correct.
But that's not the case in a battery.
That's right.
In a battery, the weight is a weight.
But
It's losing charge. So it's a complicated thing. But we've got pretty decent range. In the first one, we've got a real world range of 180. So we took it from here to Alwar by road.
Right.
Of course, followed it by a car.
Internal combustion engine will always be reliable.
Just in case. And, we booked a place which had a charging station each end. It was a normal 3-pin plug.
Right.
So we had good fun. We came back. Then we made the second one. The second one we have to yet to take it to the hills where it is meant to be tested, like Ladakh, Leh, Spiti.
Sure.
So the plan is that this season is when we'll be doing that kind of testing, and we'll be making some good videos and stuff also.
But there is an anxiety, isn't there? The fact that you can find a fuel station and get your fill up in like literally less than 5 minutes and go away. This takes actually 8 hours. So the whole bit about being stranded, say for example in a Ladakh, do you think that's a bit of a hurdle
Arnav will answer the first part of it. I'll tell you about the charging part of it.
Okay.
So anxiety, of course, even when you go to Ladakh, even getting fuel is a precious commodity, right?
Yeah.
It's difficult to get. But having said that, yes, it is challenging to take an electric vehicle to places where infrastructure is not there. The other thing is that when you are up in the mountains, your range reduces substantially because of the temperature, because of the amount of inclines that you have to go up and down. Though when you go downhill, you can regenerate your own battery through regen braking, right? Through regen. Now, having said that, yes, it is a challenge. But what we are trying to do, at least in the beginning, our plan is to essentially create this as a unique experience for our riders, where we would be able to provide them with support. So we've got some technology that we are working on our bike, like vehicle-to-vehicle charging, which means that we don't have to carry a generator all the way to charge our bike when it needs a top-up midway. We'd probably be able to take charge out of another electric vehicle. Another electric vehicle that can share its charge, maybe a larger four-wheeled electric vehicle that can share charge. The other thing that we're trying to kind of work into this is range extenders. So there might be a way for us to be able to add on, like when you go for a adventure ride, you have your panniers, you carry your luggage, you carry your fuel tanks. You carry extra 5 to 10 liters of fuel, right?
Right. Yeah, of course.
So similarly, you'd be able to carry in the same volume batteries.
Okay.
Which will give you that needed extra 20, 25 to 30 kilometers, 50 kilometers perhaps.
Sure.
Which will get you to your destination, right? And yes, but having said that, electric mobility is exploration in electric vehicle is still a challenge, even with a four-wheeler.
Sure.
But increasingly, this challenge is being kind of addressed with infrastructure kind of expanding into various corners.
Battery chemistry changing.
And also, Ladakh and all, there's abundance in solar.
Yeah.
So you can always, as a matter of fact, a charging station in Ladakh would be more ecological if it were to work on solar versus a charging station in Delhi, which is mostly working on a coal grid.
But that is
Right.
still in the realms of experiment, is it not?
Science fiction.
Science.
I mean, it is. We've got a desktop version of that technology kind of
Right.
working for us. But
Right.
yes, of course, for it to be incorporated into a vehicle is
Yeah.
a matter of funds and amount of the amount of man-hours that we can throw at
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. Forge Bikes, ladies and gentlemen. If people were to want to know a little more, are you on the internet somewhere? Can people find you on social media, etc., etc.?
Yeah,
if they've got
yeah.
questions.
There's-
Where do they find you?
There's a website, forgebikes.com.
That's-
.in.
That's
Dot
four.
bike.
Not bike.
So that's four, as in the
number
numeral
4, then
RGE.
RGE.BIKE.
Dot bike.
So yeah, 4RGE.BIKE in case you want to find out more. Vikram Mishra's heart has been beating a lot as far as customizing things are concerned. You don't like things in their natural state, do you, Vikram Mishra?
No.
No.
Everything has to be tailored.
Everything has to be
Everything
tailored.
has to
There used to be a car as well that you had made, no?
Jeep.
The Jeep that you had made. That was Ravan, you called
Correct,
it, huh?
correct.
Ha. So basically from scratch, Vikram Mishra made a Jeep for himself because there's nothing quite like making something out of your passion. And of course now there are 2 bikes now that are full-size bikes that are hoping to give you the true biking experience, so to speak, and not just to compromise. I mean, there is a lot of the purists, if I may use the word, and I'm making the air quote sign here, they thumb their noses at the fact that, electric bikes aren't really bikes, and all of that. But you're truly trying to make a bike that will go everywhere. It's a go anywhere bike that you're trying to make, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Our main the objective is to make a very reliable piece of machinery and something that can be charged faster. So with the new kind of charging that
You
we're
must
trying
tell
to
us about the fact that there's been a constant improvement as far as the charging technology is concerned.
Yeah.
You want to give us a bit of a layman's perspective to
So,
it?
Sarthak, like the way you have your phone, you've got a quick charge where it'll take it to 80% really fast.
Okay. And what is the fast here? How much time?
40 minutes for a full-size battery.
Okay.
You can get from, see what happens is when it's showing you 0 on your battery, it's actually not 0. There's something known as DOD, which is depth of discharge.
Okay.
So that depth of discharge is set by the manufacturer. He decides that I want the DOD to be 20%. So that means in a 100% battery, when it reaches 20%, it'll show you that it's gone, but it'll not be. But from a regular DOD to 80% of the charge, you can reach in 40%, depending on what
40
kind
minutes.
of 40 minutes. You could, depending on what kind of charger you're using.
Right.
So what we are planning to do is, so right now there are 2-3 different protocols that are there. There is CCS, there is GPT, GB by T, and there is CHAdeMO. CHAdeMO is the Japanese one. CCS is the European one, and GBT is the Chinese one. But there's another one for two-wheelers that's coming, which is Type 6, I think. Type 6.
Okay. These are types of batteries that you're talking
No,
about.
they are types of charging protocols.
Charging protocols.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sure.
Type 6 is, so basically with that, my guess is if we do it properly, in about 40 minutes you'll be able to go from 0 to 80%. So, say for example, you've taken a break somewhere and you have that charging facility there. While you have coffee, you can actually, just plug in your motorcycle and it'll be enough to keep you at 80%.
But tell me, all of those jokes about carrying a generator, are those true?
No, like for example, a lot of these cars, electric cars, the service they provide is in case you get
essentially
stalled, there's a generator that goes and
wheels.
charges it.
So you can actually, if you're going somewhere, you can actually take a generator with you, and if the car discharges, you can actually,
Yeah.
that is a possibility.
It's a possibility, but that sort of defeat the purpose.
Yeah, certainly won't save the earth. Might save you some time, but certainly not saving the earth. But listen, that is the thing. It is a little bit of a butt of jokes as far as electric mobility is concerned, because those who have taken the mantle upon themselves of being purists, or those who truly understand, etc., are making a lot of fun with it. What, according to you, looks like the future of electric mobility?
I mean, the future of mobility is electric. So I think
You truly believe that? I mean, you truly believe?
well, unless there is a different energy source that for example, hydrogen has been looked at, or if there is another energy source that
Sodium
people have
ion,
been, again, it's a battery, a type of a battery. But electricity is what's going to propel our mobility in the future. Now, how you generate the electricity may be dependent on various other things, right? Now, So as far as the purists are concerned, now the one thing I don't understand about this whole concept of purists are holding on to a certain notion of a mobility device that is based on some mechanical nuances that give them that, and I'm doing the air quote sign, quote unquote, character,
Right.
which they find in an electric vehicle missing, and hence soulless, and hence not a real bike, right? But the fact remains is that for us, or at least for me, I don't view biking or riding a motorbike as the experience that I get, what the bike is giving me, but more the experience that the bike allows me to be a part of, which is go to places.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So, of course, I need a product which takes me there reliably. Right. Of course, I need a product which at least conforms to a certain established parameters of performance for me to be able to do that journey well. But at the end of the day, for me, it's the journey.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the journey, and the added benefit of journeying on a electric motorcycle is that when you reach that place, you're not polluting that with your tailpipe emissions, right? Now, it was I wouldn't come to this decision now, and I wouldn't hold on to it so strongly. I mean, I did a ride last in 2021 to Zanskar.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Now, and I love going to Ladakh. I motorbike there like four times now. Now, Zanskar was a place that I really wanted to kind of explore on a motorbike, which I did. But trust me, it was the most polluted 3,500 kilometers of my life. Because what has happened in that area is that all our above 10-year vehicles have been sold.
They've landed up.
They've
They've landed up
and
there.
it's all black.
Black.
It's all there.
Acrid smoke.
Black,
Yes,
black
I've seen that.
smoke.
Absolutely.
Yeah, black
Absolutely.
smoke.
For sure.
Compounded by the fact that
Absolutely.
those vehicles can't do those terrains well because
Yeah.
there are no roads, so they're struggling to kind of get up the hill. Right.
Which creates more pollution.
Which creates
Yeah?
more pollution,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And then you compound that with all the roads that are being made, the emissions from burning tar,
Yeah.
all the army vehicles that operate there,
Absolutely.
right? Now, I was horrified by that experience. And like a lot of times we had to actually get off the road and ride wherever we could so that we could be away from a tempo going in front of us,
Sure.
spewing smoke at us, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, imagine that. I mean, if that continues to happen, right?
Yeah.
5 years or 10 years down the line, that,
Yeah.
the whole...
that experience is gone.
the experience
Yeah,
is gone.
absolutely.
The climate will change over there.
To say nothing of the fact that it might not even exist. Because,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Might not.
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not, a clean mobility is the future that
For sure.
we should look at. Now,
sure.
whether we do it on electric or a hydrogen-powered one, it's for technology that is a mass market. Which
Technology
is
for good. Technology for the
Yeah.
earth, I guess.
I mean, for you to be able to enjoy Earth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yes, it'll still be there, but it'll be a hellhole.
Making those bikes, how do I lay my hands on it? Are you going to be? What's the money structure like? If I may ask, how do I get my hands on the bike? Is it customized? What is it?
So right now these bikes are not certified. There's a government certification that's required. So
Sure.
that's called homologation. So that process is pretty expensive. Right now we're at a stage where we are testing these prototypes and we are looking to raise capital so that we can take these bikes to homologation, certify them, and then produce it and sell it subsequently. Starting with small batch and then slowly scaling it up.
Sure.
But and it's difficult to give test rides, but you can come and try it.
Of course.
And it's in Vasant Kunj.
Ha.
But since there's no registration number,
Sure,
so
yeah.
it's a little iffy. But you can come and try it. There's a closed loop over there. You can definitely try it.
Absolutely. But there were some interesting incidents while the making of the bike. was
So
happening,
one very interesting incident was when we were testing the mule.
Huh.
So what happened was that me and Ganesh used to take it to Faridabad Gurgaon Road.
Okay.
Now at Faridabad Gurgaon Road, Ganesh is looking at the motor after he's come back after a run, and I'm looking at the motor, and he puts his finger on the motor and he says, "See, there is silver paint. I've gone over silver paint somewhere." So I said, "Yeah, maybe you've gone over silver paint." And then I said, "But if your motor's got silver paint on it, why is it not there on the tires?"
Huh.
Then I said, "Oh shit, we've burnt the motor." So the motor, that was the soldering of the motor that was slowly coming out of the, after the air vents. That's when we realized we need to reduce the parameters and bring it within, because we were testing it to, let's see where it heats.
Yeah, of
So it was
course.
running fine, but then we saw that, then we had to send the motor, to rework the whole thing, open
Yeah,
it up.
absolutely.
That is just one of the incidents.
There's a little bit of bad philosophy involved in life as well. I mean, you won't test it till you see where it can go, no? I
Yeah,
mean, you have
yeah.
to push the limits a little, no?
Yeah, you have to push the limits.
Break it.
But in a place where cost effectiveness is also something that's extremely important, etc. The costing of the bike, is that a bit of a hurdle for you? Is that going to be a bit of a
That is a hurdle. I'll tell you why. Because right now batteries are the majority of the cost of electric mobility vehicle. Okay, and batteries are pretty expensive in India. Like to give you an example, a kilowatt hour of battery in the US will cost 5,000. In India, it will cost about 8,500, 9,000, maybe 10,000 due to taxation.
Almost double.
Almost double. But over a period of time, I'm sure this thing will change because the Indian government is really pushing for electric mobility because it's clean and the dependence on fuel from taking fuel from abroad will reduce.
Of course.
However, my thoughts are slightly different on that because lithium also is a very it's a limited resource and most of it lies in places like China, and all the mines have also been bought by China.
Yeah.
So according to me, in the next future, there is going to be a change in chemistry of batteries, and I think sodium ion will be what people will be looking at. And there's just two companies. Reliance has invested very heavily in sodium ion, and there's one company from China that's invested in it.
Right.
All this gyan I recently picked up from the conference that we had.
But do tell, it reeks of a little bit of a duopoly. It sounds like something that can certainly be controlled, out of the market forces, etc. Because as you said, the raw material is located in very few areas.
Yeah.
So as far as the democratization, so to speak, of the technology is concerned, do you think that's going to be a bit of a problem that is going to lie in only a few hands in the near future? You think that's a bit of a problem?
It's difficult to say, or not.
I don't know. See, that's why people, the dependency on lithium, which is essentially a controlled resource.
Yeah.
Both geographically and also by the companies who control.
Exactly.
And also, other issues involved in ethical mining of the said ore. So that's why people are moving to chemistries which have elements that are more freely available, like sodium, right? So that, of course, will drive the construction of a energy cell to produce electricity. And as far as duopoly is concerned, one can't say really now because that technology is still far ahead in the future. For it to kind of trickle down to a consumer level, it'll take a while.
But initially it will be. Initially it will be.
But there is one question that I know that you can answer, which is ICE versus electric. The heart and the mind, Vikram Mishra.
See, heart is very difficult to get over that lovely roar of a 4-cylinder inline motorcycle. I can completely buy that. But now if you see the fastest cars on earth, electric
cars.
They're the fastest.
And that torque, man, it comes from zero.
It just comes from the standing start.
Standing start.
And they're just amazing. Of course, they're expensive. They're really expensive.
Sure.
But like Rimac.
But the heart.
Heart.
I will still. Will I not see an ICE engined vehicle in Vikram Mishra's garage in the next 5 years?
I think as long as it is possible, you will, because the love for motorcycles or for engines, or for vehicles, 4-wheelers also. There's a certain feel, and we've been used to it for such a long time.
Yeah.
There's a certain equation and relation that happens when you're changing gears and you're not wanting to fix things and all that. Of course, but
I'm not shaking his head.
As long as it lets me travel, and because I really don't use a motorcycle to commute.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I still understand that as long as cities, and Delhi, by the way, has been voted the most polluted city in the world.
Most polluted capital in the world. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Excellent.
Another trophy for our Hall of Shame.
That's Hall of Shame. Exactly. It's a large hall.
Yeah.
So as long as I can take and go to places which are beautiful, you have peace and quiet.
Sure.
I really couldn't complain about. I will not say that I'm going to stick to IC. I'm the last, in my last breath, I'd be still burning the last drop of fuel that I have. I'm open to. I'm not open. I'm actually looking forward to.
Otherwise, as Vikram Mishra is a sound engineer, I'm sure he can make a process that he can play the roar while the electric motor goes.
Well, someone's already done that.
Someone's done that.
They've actually done that. I know. There is a bike.
Revolt. company that does that.
Yeah,
Yes,
they've
yes.
given you an option of choosing which
Different
kind of
speaker types.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are ways to make the heart beat, but if the mind says that there is something that's better for the environment, maybe we should be
The
choosing.
heart is easily fooled.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, the heart has its reasons, but so does the mind. So we thought we'd give you a nice little balance between that. Forge Bikes is the startup that we're talking about. For the numeral RGE.BIKE, where you go to find out what it looks like, and it's spectacular. But we are hoping that everything comes together and we can actually see those bikes on the road very, very soon. Vikram Mishra and Arnab,
Thank you.
Thank
you very, very much for this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Sarthak.
you so much.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. If you had food for thought, chew on it a little while.
94.3 Radio 1.